This video will discuss chapter 7.7, multiplying polynomials. So first thing we're going to practice is multiplying two binomials. And so the way we're going to multiply, this has to do a lot to do with the distributive property. And we're going to talk about something called FOIL, and I'll explain to you in a minute why it's called that. But I think that the best way, because you'll see at the end of this video that FOIL at times stops working, is that you're basically going to take this, I'm going to distribute this 2x to the x, and then I'm going to distribute the 2x to the 5. And then I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to distribute it to the x, and I'm going to distribute it to the 5. So I'm trying to multiply 2x plus 3 in parentheses times x plus 5, which is also in its own set of parentheses. Alright, so 2x times x, this is 2x squared, right? Because 2 times 1 is 2, and then x times x is x squared because I'm adding the exponents. 2x times 5 is 10x. 3 times x is 3x. And then 3 times 5 is 15. So I want you to see that we basically have, make sure that's a plus. We've basically taken 2x, that's how I got this first term, second term, third term, fourth term. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm looking to simplify like terms. The advantage of this system, which is often referred to as FOIL, so when I'm multiplying a binomial by a binomial, it's typically these middle terms that I'm going to be able to combine. So there's no other x squared, so the 2x squared is going to remain. 10x plus 3x, this becomes 13x plus 15. So my final answer is going to look something like that. Now, you will see this often called FOIL, right? And so what this means is first, outer, inner, last. And so the idea is that I go first, so the first terms, 2x and x are called the first terms, so that's the f of the FOIL. Then the outer, so I'm taking the two outer terms, that's the 2x and the 5. Then the inner, which is the 3 and the x. And then the last terms, which are the 3 and the 5. So it's first, outer, inner, last. Now, the problem with FOIL, or one of the biggest problems that I have with FOIL, is it only works with binomials. So you'll see later when we add a third term here, FOIL no longer works. So I find it easier to think of this as distributing the 2x and distributing the 3. You do it in the exact same order, and it works out that way. All right, second would be, now you'll notice the biggest difference here is that this is now a subtraction problem. So subtracting and adding, so I'm going to take the 2y and distribute, and then distribute to the 5, and now negative 5, remember this is a negative 5 distributed to 3y, and negative 5 distributed to the 5. So this becomes 2y times 3y is 6y squared, 2y times 5 is 10y, negative 5 times 3y, this is negative 15y, negative 5 times 5, this is negative 25. All right, now, same thing, these middle terms I can combine, so this is 6y squared, 10y minus 15y, this is minus 5y minus 25. And so there would be my final answer. So the biggest difference here is that obviously I'm subtracting, and so this becomes a negative 5 that I distribute to both of those. All right, and then the final problem now, and you'll notice this one now is a binomial by a trinomial. And so this is where FOIL kind of breaks down. So what I'm going to do is take the 6x to each of these, and then I need to take the 5 to each of these, keeping in mind this is a negative 3x and a negative 5. Okay, so 6x times 2x squared, this would be 12x to the third, because remember I'm multiplying numbers and then adding the exponents. 6x times negative 3x is negative 18x squared. Sorry, 3 is a little confusing. 6x times negative 5, that's negative 30x. Now I'm going to 5. 5 times 2x squared, this is positive 10x squared. I'm going to run out of room, so I'm going to end up putting this down here. 5 times negative 3x is negative 15x. And then 5 times negative 5, this is negative 25. Keep in mind this is all one solid line, right? So it just kind of jumps from there to there. We're not necessarily subtracting top to bottom. So now when you start combining, like Tim's working for variables they would have in common, so I got this 12x cubed. Okay, then I got this. Remember that the signs are going to stay with us. This is negative 18 plus 10x. This is minus 8x squared, and then minus 30x minus 15x, this becomes negative 45x, and then finally I'm going to subtract the 25, and so this would be my final answer when I multiply this binomial times the trinomial. 12x cubed minus 8x squared minus 45x minus 25. Make sure you don't start trying to combine these because x cubed, x squared, x, and then the negative 25 are not the same. They cannot be combined. All right, that's all we got for you on multiplying polynomials. Thanks very much for watching the video. Don't forget to do the problems at the bottom of the page. I'll see you in class.